Well, the god of music, certainly if there was one, as far as sitar music is concerned, he was the god of music, and legends from the world of music have come out and expressed their association with him, their whole sense of loss at this. Truly gently weeps because it has lost one of its best legendary performers, and that of course is he's no more. Died earlier in the day in San Diego, California, of problems of the lung and heart. Well, he was been ailing for a long time, was in hospital, and with his family, of course, in attendance, he breathed his last. He was operated for a valve bypass, but unfortunately was not able to sustain and he breathed his last. Well, he certainly has been one of the legendary musicians that India has produced. He is the ambassador of India beyond words, beyond music abroad. Well, he's won numerous awards, and of course his association with the world of music abroad is legendary. Well, he started off, of course, in All India Radio, and from All India Radio right across the world to America, he took Indian music. He has many associations. His associations include the legendary Yehudi Menuhin. Also, of course, with him was George Harrison and Zubin Mehta. So he certainly has bridged the India-Western music divide, and some of the songs that some of his songs that he has composed and played, of course, have gone on to become world hits. One of them, the very famous Beatles song Norwegian Wood, is inspired from his music. And of course, let's listen to his daughter-in-law Ravi Shankar talk about the legend.
It's still sinking in, and it's very unimaginable because he's so far away and we are here. We are unable to rush there, and you just want to be next to Chinnamma, that's Sukanyaji, and his daughters. That it's not only a personal or a family loss; it's a huge loss on the for all the artist family. It's a huge loss for classical musicians. It's a huge loss for the young generation who I'm afraid are going to be further deprived of listening to a stalwart, and he was like god of music.
Well, the god of music, certainly if there was one, as far as sitar music is concerned, he was the god of music, and legends from the world of music have come out and expressed their association with him, their whole sense of loss at this particular moment. Anup Jalota speaks on the Maharaj.
पंडित रवि शंकर जी के आने से भारतीय संगीत को क्या, पूरे विश्व के संगीत को बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ है। हमारे यहाँ उस्ताद अलाउद्दीन खान साहब को पितामह कहा जाता रहा है शास्त्रीय संगीत का, लेकिन उसके बाद अगर और कोई गॉडफादर हुआ है, पितामह हुआ है शास्त्रीय संगीत का, तो वो पंडित रवि शंकर ही हुए।
पंडित जी के प्रति तो हम क्या कहें, मतलब सिवाय दुख, हार्दिक दुख, मतलब दुख तो छोटा शब्द है, ये तो ऐसे अमर लोग थे, मतलब इस तरह के लोग थे कि जो सितार की पहचान दुनिया में दिला दी। सितार है कौन, राग ताल, और बड़े मुस्कुरा के बजाते थे, मतलब इतना आनंदमय हो जाते थे जब सितार बजाते थे। तो उनका ये था कि उनके चेहरे पर, उनकी आंखों में हर राग का, हर ताल का, हर सुर का एक आभास झलकता था।
And now joining us from Mumbai is Indian classical vocalist Lakshman Krishna Rao Pandit. Sir, welcome to the show, and of course this is a time loss. Thank you for being with us and sharing your thoughts at this time. So my first question to you is, of course, this is a huge loss for the whole music world. Can you put that into context for us?
Right. Pandit was a very great musician, and an era has come to end with his sad demise.
And personally, I believe that you have interacted with him. What is the essence, one, of his personality, and two, of his music?
His personality was very grand and very impressive, and magnetic personality, I will say. I have met him several times. I first saw him in 1940s when he came to Gwalior to play before my father, and he played in the first concert in Shankar Gandhar Vidyalaya in front of my father. He played Rag Puriya Kalyan, and he was accompanied at that time by Pandit Chaturlal ji. It was a grand concert. Then I heard his national program of music which he opened. The first national program was started with Pandit Ravi Shankar ji of All India Radio, and he played Rag Miya Malhar. He played so nicely that I still remember his music.
Well, certainly it's a moment where India is coming together and, of course, paying the respects to the man himself. We're joined now by Tanushri, Pandit Ravi Shankar's daughter-in-law. Ma'am, welcome to this tribute, and thank you for joining us and sharing your views with us in this moment of crisis and, of course, gloom. But can you put into context a personal Ravi Shankar for us, somebody who was very close to you, who you'll miss as a person more than, of course, what he meant to the world?
That's true. The personal loss is huge. It's a huge void. It's a huge vacuum that just cannot be filled. And, I feel that two pillars in my life have just left me. One was a few years ago, my late husband Anup Jalota, and today when I heard the news of Ravi Shankar ji, I was absolutely devastated. And it's very strange that I really still do not want to believe that he's not there physically, because I still can feel his presence, his spirit within us. And for me, I had the opportunity, and I've been blessed to be his daughter-in-law, and I've shared some very, very precious moments with him. And the last one being that I was really, really happy when he came to see our performance in Delhi this year in January in Kamani, and appreciated our work. So that was like an artist appreciating another artist's work. But as a father-in-law, he was full of life, full of humor, very considerate. Whenever he met me, he would always ask me as to how I was sustaining myself after Anando, what my daughter was doing, where was she, what new projects am I doing. So his concern was always there, even if it was not every day that he was calling me up or talking to me. But whenever we met, that feel of the warmth I always felt. So I really feel terrible to even imagine that maybe physically we will not be able to see him, but I do feel him. I do feel his spirit to be with us, and he'll keep on guiding me, guiding us in spirit in future as well.
Well, certainly he will guide us in spirit and with his music. Of course, as far as Bollywood is concerned and the music world is concerned, it is heavy with the loss. Jaya Bachchan speaks to us.
और उन्होंने इस देश का नाम विदेशों में इतना ज़्यादा किया. It's a great loss. It's a shock to me. अब भी अमित जी ने उनसे बात की. Very sad.
विश्व के एक बहुत बड़ी हस्ती नहीं रही है वो पंडित रविशंकर जी. वो सिर्फ भारत के ही नहीं कलाकार थे, पूरे विश्व के कलाकार थे, और विश्व के कोने कोने में उनको जाना जाता था. सितार और रविशंकर जी एक ही नाम हो गया था, सिनोनिमस था. आज हम बहुत दुखी हैं उनके निधन से. ये तो प्रकृति का खेल है, जो आया है उसको जाना ही पड़ेगा, लेकिन उनका कंट्रीब्यूशन हजारों साल तक याद रखा जाएगा. और पंडित रविशंकर जैसा महान आदमी बार बार इस पृथ्वी पे नहीं आता है. हमारी बहुत बहुत श्रद्धा सुमन उनके चरणों में अर्पित है. उनके आत्मा की शांति के लिए हम प्रार्थना कर रहे हैं. हमारा बहुत श्रद्धांजलि है.
Well, the whole music world and all lovers of Pandit Ravi Shankar, certainly a moment when, of course, they're reliving those times when they were with him. And now, of course, let's go back to Lakshman Krishna Pandit. Panditji, if you could just put into perspective his music. There's a lot said about how he was the Indian angel who took Indian music and classical music to the world. Put that into perspective. What does it mean for somebody who's just joining the classical world today?
He was the first man to introduce classical and popularize classical music in the Western world. And he went with his tabla player and made so much popular that he was known with sitar and Pandit Ravi Shankarji were synonymous. They were the same name. And he popularized so much Indian music that now so many musicians are going abroad.
Well, certainly he was the ambassador and he took that role very, very seriously. Let's go back to Tanushree now. And Tanushree, personally, of course, there must have been many moments where you lived and talked and, of course, worked with the man himself. How was it working with him? Was he a very strict disciplinarian? Was he like the grand old man that we have seen him for so many years? How did he come across?
You know, I would never call him old, grand old man. I'll never call him that because he's always young at heart. He was more younger than all of us put together. And yes, I had the great opportunity of choreographing on one of his music during Asiad. And we spent about a month together staying at the Ashoka Hotel and working together. And I admired the hard work and the time that he gave for every piece of music that he was creating. And when we would rehearse we did the finale, the music for the finale, which was called Welcome to Apu. He had done the 12 minutes piece. And when we would rehearse, he would make it a point to come and see the rehearsal and give his views. When he liked it, he would appreciate it. And if he felt that, you know, it could be changed a little bit, he would give me that advice. And I have also seen for the first time, I had seen at that time that how hard this person works, because we just see Ravi Shankar as an icon, as a person, you know, the whole world admires him, but the kind of dedication to music and the dedication and hard work that he gives in every single day is what we never get to see. And that was a huge learning point for me. And that was a turning point in my life where I felt that we have a very, 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 very long way to go, even to, you know, come near him. And I learned that without hard work, nothing happens.
Well, certainly, and he definitely is an inspiration to all of us, and nothing comes without hard work. That, of course, is extremely clear. And now, let's go in for more reactions are coming across Twitter. And, well, right at the top, Priyanka Chopra. Well, the end of an era in music. We have lost. Here's Vishal Bharadwaj talking about Pandit Ravi Shankar. Rest in peace, sir. Mahesh Bhatt expressing his loss. Columnist Shobha Dey, this is what she had to say on Twitter. Of course, let's go back to Panditji. Panditji, his music, of course, will live on. But as far as his music is concerned, what do you remember it most for? Or is there a particular number, a particular song that you would remember? And of course, that would be an inspiration to you.
His treatment of raga was in very much depth, and his alap was very wonderful. Alap, Jod, Jhala, very wonderful. It gives the effect of being. And he used to play Gatkari in different talas, and with special emphasis on the lay also. He used to give special emphasis on the lay aspect also. And whenever he used to listen to music, I have seen that he used to count the matras by his hand. When he came to my concert, I sang in Ada Chautala, he was counting the matras on tal, on his hand. She is wonderful as a listener, as a musician. He was wonderful. That's excellent.
Well, certainly as a musician and a listener, definitely a wonderful person. Ma'am and sir, please, if you could stay with us just a bit. We're going to take a short break. But before we do that, here is the man himself, Pandit Ravi Shankar, teaching the Beatles how to play. Well, that of course would be a different string altogether.
It is strange to see pop musicians with sitars. I was confused at first. It had so little to do with our classical music. When George Harrison came to me, I didn't know what to think. But I found he really wanted to learn. I never thought our meeting would cause such an explosion. That Indian music would suddenly appear on the pop scene. It's peculiar. But out of this, a real interest is growing.
Today the sitar truly gently weeps because we have lost one of his biggest musicians, and that of course is Pandit Ravi Shankar. Now joining me is his daughter-in-law, Tanushri. Tanushri, first off, of course, you've spent a lot of time with him, and you and your husband Anando also have been abroad and spent time with him personally. What are your memories that you'd like to share with us?
We were very, very lucky to have spent 7 days with him exclusively in San Francisco, long time ago. I think it was in 1982, and that was a very memorable moment for me because those 7 days, it was just 3 of us staying in a house, huge house, which belonged to one of Ravi Shankarji's student, and he was there. So we went and called him up, and he said, "Why don't you all come over?" And we went and stayed with him, and those 7 days, he would sing and compose, and just 3 of us would go out in a car and just roam around San Francisco. He would talk about Maihar, his days when he was learning. Then he chatted about his time when he was with my father-in-law, touring with him, and when he was dancing along with him. So those few days were such moments that I would never ever forget in my life. Those moments come very rarely to get Ravi Shankar exclusively, but at that juncture when we were there with him, it wasn't Ravi Shankar, it was an uncle of Anando's and a father-in-law of mine with whom we were spending time. So that was one of the great moments I would remember. And another time, we also traveled to San Diego and stayed with Chinnamma, Sukanyaji and Panditji, and we spent about 3 days with them there as well. And that was another wonderful time that we had with him in those few days, and I'll always cherish them.
Well, certainly memories that we'll cherish and live on in our minds. And also we also have with us Panditji, coming back to you. And of course, this is as far as music is concerned. They always say that he was the ambassador of Indian music in the world. Was he also influenced by international music? Because ultimately, that's normally what happens.
He used to play our Indian classical music, and I think he was not playing something special. He was playing whatever he used to play. Yeah. and that has influenced the world, and he has popularized our music.
Well, he certainly played. What if there was a message that he would like to give, and you were that ambassador for the message? What would that message be to the world, Panditji?
The message: try to follow his good things, and whatever he has produced in his life with great bhakti, shraddha, and he has learned music very well, and then reproduced and उसका प्रचार किया उसने. He has propagated all over the world. He was the ambassador of our Indian classical music with the world.
Well, certainly an
He has created
ambassador.
new events.
Definitely, and his music will go on, and that's what everybody will remember from. Thank you so much, Tanushri and Panditji, for sharing your thoughts at this moment of loss. We'll now move on, and yes, this is his contribution to the world of Western music. He had a great jugalbandi with this Beatle, and his name, of course, is George Harrison. He taught the Beatle how to play the sitar, and this is a tribute to him, Norwegian Wood.
Should I say, she once had me. She showed me her room, isn't it good, Norwegian wood. She asked me to stay and she told me to sit anywhere. So I looked around and I noticed there wasn't a chair. Sat on the road, biding my time, drinking her wine. We talked until 2, and then she said, it's time for bed. She worked in the morning and started to laugh. I told her I didn't and crawled off to sleep in the bath. And when I awoke, I was alone with Birdie Flown. So I lit the fire, isn't it good, Norwegian wood.
At times like this, I'm always reminded of lines from a poem. The music in my heart I bore, long after it was heard no more. And that's exactly what's going to happen with the legend's music. Here are some visuals, photos that define the life of the legend. We'll leave you with those and memories of the man and his music. Rest in peace, Ravi Shankar.